Hey everyone, Andrew, Logan here. Welcome to another YouTube video. And today I want to take you through the top 3 mistakes that most investors make. Because if we want to create financial freedom, we need to take the vehicle that we have, the money that we're earning, the cash flow that we're generating, and we need to put it to work. We need to actually make sure that we're investing the money, that we're taking care of it and creating that incredible legacy. We can make all the money in the world, but if we don't actually take care of it, then we'll never get freedom. Now, when we talk about investing, it can be overwhelming for people. Other people just like to jump in the pool, fully clothed, bomb dive in. Other people are very cautious, they're dipping their toe in, risk, losing money, the fear of those things happening can be great for people. It can be crippling for people as well. But we also know that mistakes are a great place to learn. The problem is when you invest, mistakes are very expensive. So I want to give you the top 3 mistakes that I see most people make so you can learn from them. And if you can learn from them and you can avoid doing those mistakes, then you will have greater success. In the words of Warren Buffett, everything has risk, but the best way to reduce your risk is to improve your knowledge. So yes, investing has risk, but you can drastically reduce that risk by improving your knowledge and avoiding the common mistakes that most new investors make. So, what are those 3 mistakes? Well, the first one is pretty obvious, but hey, we're here. Most people, when they start investing, do not have enough money. Now that probably seems pretty obvious, as I say, but it's not a fact that they don't have enough money. Really, it's the expectation of trying to create a huge amount of freedom from a small amount of money. That's really the big challenge I see. So people might be starting with $200, $500, $1,000. Whatever you're starting with, that's great. You're starting. You're starting the process. You're starting to flex that muscle. You're starting to train your brain. You're starting to do all those things. The problem is that people can have this crazy expectation or this incredibly high risk expectation that I've got $10,000, now I'm going to turn it into $1 million. And that's when things go wrong. Now, yes, every now and then someone wins the lotto. Every now and then someone picks that stock, that house, that coin, and it goes from 1 cent to $10. Yes, sometimes those things happen. Sometimes people win the lotto. Sometimes people get lucky. But hope and luck is not a strategy we can rely on. If we want to leave money to our children, we need reliable things. If I'm putting money away today for our children, I want to know that that thing will still be there in 20, 30, 40 years when they're going to take over, when they're using that money. And that's why we like property personally, because I know this house will be here in 20, 30 years. As long as we take care of it, it will be here, it will be reliable. Okay? So when we don't have enough money to start, our expectation can be to go out and do crazy things and try and make so much money in one trade, in one investment, that grand slam home run swing. And I know this because I did this personally. I was working and I'd have a few $1,000s spare and I was like, right, you've got a $5,000, you've got $10,000 spare, go out and create financial freedom with that $10,000. So what do? I make risky investments. Now, occasionally they worked. Occasionally we were able to make very good money. But the problem is, because I then started to think that I could beat the system, I started to think a little bit more like a gambler than an investor. I was like, well, hey, if I've turned $10,000 into $50,000, I could turn $50,000 into $250,000. But instead I turned $50,000 into zero, because I was just going for these home run swings, and they happen just often enough that we think we should go out and do it. I was making just enough home run trades that I kept thinking I could do it every single time. So when we talk about wealth, when we talk about freedom, we talk about accumulation of wealth. Start with that $200, start with that $1,000, start with that $5,000, whatever it is. But don't try and turn that $5,000 into $1 million. Focus on turning $5,000 into $6,000. Then you can turn 6 into 7, then you can turn 7 into 8, then you can turn 8 to 9, 9 to 10, etc. And you accumulate and you compound and you snowball. Start where you are with what you have and have the correct expectations. The more money you have, the faster we can accumulate, of course, and the less risk we need to do that. So we're gonna take the cash flow from our business, we're gonna take that extra income we're gonna produce, and we're turning that into the markets, we're turning that into investments, and we are accumulating wealth. All right, second one, not enough skill. Now, what I mean by this is, again, some people, it can be very much like, I've got this money, what do I do tomorrow? And one of the things I always say to people is, hey, let's start by reading some books. Let's start by watching some videos. One of the simplest questions that we ask is, where do I invest? Well, what do you want to invest in? Is it stocks? Is it property? Is it crypto? Is it commodities? Is it futures? All these sorts of things. Now, are you a cash flow or a capital gains investor? Are you here for the short term or are you here for the long term? Are you actively doing stuff or are you passively investing? All of those things, like your desire for investing will help you make the decision on what kind of thing you should be investing in. Now, if you don't have any knowledge, any understanding, any skills, you shouldn't be investing just yet. You should be investing in your own knowledge first, investing in your personal development, investing in yourself. And again, in the words of Benjamin Franklin, self-development, personal investment always pays the best dividends. But if you're not quite sure how to make money out of a property, if you're not quite sure how the stock market works, how the currency market works, how the commodity market works, don't dive in yet. Don't sit there with FOMO or YOLO or like, my friend's doing this, so I better jump in. Because there will always be opportunities. And if you just wait 2 or 3 months and you spend those 2 or 3 months learning, reading, accumulating knowledge, speaking to people who know what they're doing, learning from them, you will avoid so many of those expensive mistakes by jumping in and not knowing what you're doing. And again, talk about Warren Buffett. The best way to reduce your risk is to know what you're doing, is to improve your knowledge. So if you don't know what you're investing in yet, take that as the sign that, you know what, I need to work on my knowledge first. I need to improve my skill sets. And if I improve my skill sets, those skills, that development is going to help me for the rest of my life. Okay? Yes, I could jump in and I could get that investment tomorrow, but you know what? There will be amazing investment opportunities next week, next month. I remember in property, they always taught us the absolute property deal of a lifetime comes along around every 2 weeks. If you miss that one, just jump on the next one. It's like a bus, you miss that bus, that's okay, just catch the next one. You miss that investment, don't sit there with FOMO, don't sit there with panic or fear. Just wait, develop your skills, and you'll know what to do when the next one comes along. You'll know how to identify it. Now, last one, not enough patience. Now, one of the biggest problems again is that we want results and we want results straight away. We live in a very microwave society that I want to put that food in and a minute later it's hot, okay? I want that thing right now, I'm going to buy it on my credit card. Patient investing is one of the hardest skills for so many people to learn. And a lot of the challenge is that you literally have to sit on your bum and do nothing. If you find that great investment, if you find that great stock that's just giving you money every quarter, the dividends are paying out, you find that great house that's going up in value, the tenants are giving you money every week, then you just have to sit around and do nothing. And I know it sounds strange, but it's actually incredibly hard for people. And we start to try and look for more exotic ways to push the system. Okay, I haven't done anything to that house. I haven't changed the tenant. I haven't done anything to that stock. I haven't done anything to that coin. Great. The best investments are the ones that you don't need to touch. The best investments are the one where you just sleep at night and you don't need to worry. So many people don't respect the time that it takes for investments to grow. And then once they grow and they start growing again, like that snowball that is just growing out of control and it's just giving you money, all these sorts of things. But if you dig it up too soon, if you plant that money tree and then you look at it after 1 day, you look at it after 2 days, you look at it after 3 days and money tree hasn't grown yet, I'm digging it up, I'm moving it over there, I'm gonna plant it over there. 3 days later, oh, hasn't planted yet, hasn't germinated yet, hasn't grown any money trees, it hasn't like given me any kind of fruit. And you move it around and you're constantly moving your money around, you're constantly doing these sorts of things. That money tree is never going to grow. It needs time to develop, but it develops, it grows, and then that amazing fruit is available off it. Now, that's why, personally, that's why we love property. Because I found, again, because I started investing in my early 20s and I'm a male, and males tend to be a bit reckless, I was like really impatient. And I'm like, I don't want financial freedom eventually, I want financial freedom tomorrow. So I found when I was in commodities, currencies, stocks, all that kind of stuff, I was getting quite impatient. And that's why I forced myself to move into property, because hey, found this great property, got a good tenant, someone's taking care of it, got a good property manager, a good bank manager. Now I literally have to sit down and do nothing. And surprisingly, that is one of the hardest things for people to do. But if I sat there after a month and said, oh, get the house revalued, hasn't gone up in value yet, okay, sell, move, let's get another house, oh, hasn't gone up in value, let's sell, let's move. It sounds crazy, but people do it. And that's where they get stuck, because the investment doesn't accumulate, it doesn't grow, it doesn't snowball. Have patience, okay? Have your goals, have the correct expectation, take the time to develop your knowledge, and then once you have done that and you set and forget, then you will have financial freedom, but it just takes that bit of patience because you have to let things grow. Guys, I hope you got value out of today's episode. I hope it has helped you with that mindset. As always, I really love to talk about this kind of stuff because we have a great way to increase our cash flow. We have a great way to earn an extra income, but we need to take the next step. We need to put that money to work. Otherwise, we're never going to achieve actual, true financial freedom. But that is my hope for you. Hopefully this video has helped you and you are further down the pathway. You're going to improve your knowledge. You're going to really set that budget, have the correct expectations on your own skill sets, your mindsets, and the kind of returns that you can get. As always, if you have got value out of this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hope to see you on another video really soon, and we'll take you through another part of the financial freedom journey. See you then.